Hey there, how's everybody doing today? I wanted to do a bit of a special episode here, kind of talking about the hurricane and truly the lessons that were learned and the importance of community and something like that. Okay, so for many of you, I know I have listeners from all over the world, all over the globe, and for many of you, a hurricane is not something. I remember yesterday somebody said to me that in the UK, like that's just not even something they think about or worry about, like that type of weather. It's just not even something that would ever be on their radar. So I know for a lot of you, that might be foreign, and for some of you, you've lived through a natural disaster like this. And if you have lived through any kind of, and I think anytime something worldly happens, you really feel the power of community. And so, first and foremost, I want to just say thank you to everybody who reached out to us, everybody who has checked in, everybody who has commented, even engaged with my content, those that have, asked other people how we were doing. We are doing okay, right? We are doing okay physically. We are fine. Our home was undamaged, and we we fared fairly well. Okay, it's the emotional side of it that really, really, really was a bit unexpected. Um, so traumatic and just absolutely devastating. And so, but here's where this comes in with the community and where it's so important to build relationships, and I really want you to think about this from a business perspective, because whether it's business or personal, relationships are what matters, right? And at the end of the day, everybody has opinions, everybody has personal differences. We all have, people that do the same thing. We all have competition. We all have people that we might not necessarily get along with. But at the end of the day, none of that shit matters. Like, it just doesn't fucking matter. It just doesn't, and, you know, here we were in this home with the potential threat of a direct hit, it landing right here. We did not have any window protection. We don't have hurricane impact windows in this house. And our landlord was doing everything he could to try and get the windows protected. But at the time, he couldn't get them protected. We had to make a decision. And so we were able to call up a friend and just said, hey, can we come ride out this hurricane with you? And of course she said, absolutely. She's one of our closest friends here. And then we got down there and she had an accident. She broke her ankle. Her hurricane shutters weren't up. She couldn't help her boyfriend bring in all the stuff from outside. And so we immediately stepped up. We got the hurricane shutters up out in the rain, cold, wind. It was awful. Brought in the rest of the stuff from the patio. Again, right there in itself, community, right? You see other people helping all their neighbors get their shutters up, because let me tell you, if you never put hurricane shutters up, those things are a pain in the freaking ass to get up. It's not a one-man job. It's really not even a two-man job. There was three of us and we were still struggling. And, but you see it. Like, I saw multiple friends saying that their sons and their husbands were out they were on their third or fourth house, their third or fourth neighbor, getting these hurricane shutters up, helping people get ready. Is there anything else you need? Do you need to secure this? Can I store this here? Do you have room for this? I mean, so you immediately saw this coming together of neighbors, people you've never even spoken to, right? Like, you could live next door to them and never even have spoken to them, but it didn't matter. It just was like, are you ready? Is there anything else you need? Do you have batteries? Do you have lanterns? Do you have this? And then the hurricane comes through and you really see it even more. I mean, and here's the thing, like, we went from, this thing lasted about 14 hours. It was so slow moving. And about 8 o'clock at night, we lost not only did we lose power, I think we lost power about 1:30. But then and so we were still able to communicate. We had extra battery chargers, which again, if you saw a post from a friend of mine, Monica, who I met at that summit I was just at, she gave out chargers. Like, who knew such a small little swag gift was going to come in so handy? But again, power of community. If I hadn't been networking, if I hadn't met her, I wouldn't have had this. There's so many synergies here. But then, so 1:30 power goes out. We're communicating with our family in New York because they're watching it on TV. They're being able to update us. We couldn't get a radio signal. We couldn't get anything. The wind was pounding. When the hurricane shutters are up, they're pitch black. You can't see outside. So you really don't know, you can only hear. We had one window that we could see out and kind of see what was going on, but again, you're really not supposed to stand next to the windows during a hurricane. So you really were just kind of in this, and you're getting these alerts on your phone to seek shelter, get inside, cover your heads. I mean, it's crazy. And all of a sudden at 8 o'clock, all cell phone service goes out. None of us have a signal. No service. No service. And the cell phone service just goes down. Now what? To be in a situation like that, where we are so connected, we have information at our fingertips at all times, to literally be cut off from the world in a moment's notice. And there was nothing we could do about it, right? There was absolutely nothing we could do about it. We had to ride through it together. And the next morning we woke up and we were able to go out and see, and it became community again. Community. Are you okay? Do you have water inside? Have you been able to get a hold of your family? We had one phone, T-Mobile. Shout out to T-Mobile. They never went down. T-Mobile and Sprint. We had one phone working where we were able to call one family member and tell them, hey, you need to get a post up. You need to tell everybody we're okay, because it's scary, right? You have nothing. And we wake up and we finally get our service back, and I am inundated with messages from everybody in the Alliance. Almost every single Alliance member reached out. How are you doing? I talked to one. She said, I know everybody in the Alliance is worried about you. Can I please update them? Can I please share this? I wake up, and we get cell phone service, and you see where people have shared, hey, just letting you know, Michelle's fine, or hey, so got an update, Venice is doing okay, it's, in a time like that, no matter what, whether it's during a natural disaster, or whether you're just having a shit day, or your journey in entrepreneurship, being able to lean on a community that's checking in, hey, how you doing? Is there anything you need help with, right? And now you have this. Even during this hurricane, it's been a week, you're still seeing people saying, how can I help? What can I do? We're trying to go down. We went and checked on, we have multiple friends who are snowbirds. And so they live in New York, we're here in Florida. We went and checked on their homes. It's just no question, right? Like it's just what you do. And that's why you build community. And that is why it is so freaking important, whether you're in business or in your personal, to build and lean on your community, because you never know when something is going to happen and you need them, and that you can count on them. And again, it doesn't mean you have to talk to them every single day. It doesn't mean that you have to, be up each other's asses. It doesn't even mean that you have to really know them, right? But just knowing that you're connected with them, and knowing that you have something in common that you can share, or that, you'd be surprised at who comes out of the woodwork when something happens. And that is what you have to remember. And that is what is so important, is who are your people? Find your people and love them hard, and go freaking make memories with them. Go experience life. Go experience business. This is why I am so, so, so passionate about the Accelerated Business Alliance, right? And having and creating a community. It's whether it's the Alliance, or at that summit I was at, that Success Champions Networking, or there's another one called the Elevate Network. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? But find your people and go love them hard, because when you need them, you got to be able to lean on them. And community, this is the one thing that every single person should be investing in. You should be investing time, and you should be investing financially into some community, because I am telling you, this is what is going to make or break the tough days. This is what makes those tough days harder. We could not have gotten through that alone. I would have been I was scared out of my mind in her home, but we were all together. There was 7 of us, right? We were all leaning on each other, sharing, making each other laugh, working through this all together. Being here, if it were just my husband and I and my mom, we would have made it through, but we would have been absolutely petrified, right? And so it makes the tough days harder. And we were all able to laugh, and we were able to play games the next day, and we were able to help one another. And we've still continued to be able to help one another. And there's still so much that needs to be done. I would love to be I know the Red Cross is taking donations. I am trying to find actual organizations and people. There are still people that are literally sitting on their countertops waiting to be rescued because the water is so deep in their homes. I mean, trust me when I tell you, on the outside, things might look like they're getting better, but on the inside, they're not. They're not for a lot of people, and they won't for a lot of people. And even for myself, if I'm being perfectly honest, which I'm here to do and I want to share with you, is like, there's a guilt, right? There's a feeling of guilt because we made it through okay. We made it through okay. I'm sitting here recording a podcast right now. My internet is up. My lights are on. Our air conditioning is on. Our pool is running, right? And we have food in our refrigerator. And there are people that are literally, when I tell you, sitting on their countertops waiting to be rescued, or sitting in their attics waiting to be rescued. We watched it. I watched it. I watched them pull 2 people out of their home on an airboat driving home. It is, you just can't even imagine it. You really can't. So I think that's another important reminder, whether it's a natural disaster or not, you never know what people are going through. And on the outside, everything might look fine, right? Everybody can usually put on a happy face. And on the outside, we can do our hair, we can put our makeup on, we can do all the things. But you really don't know what's going on. You don't know the heartache those people are experiencing. You don't know if they're dealing with some level of post-traumatic stress. You don't know if they're dealing with some kind of mental health, something or other. You don't know if they're dealing with a sense of loss and grieving something. So it's really, really important to give grace and look through a different lens. And I know we all get frustrated, and I know we all, I'm not sitting here on a pedestal acting like I've never been frustrated, acting like I've never, put my foot in my mouth, acting like I've never said something about like it's easy to look and be like, wow, why is she being such a bitch today or something, or wow, they're crabby, or Jesus, they're driving me nuts, right? Like, we've all done it. It's human nature. But every once in a while, Mother Nature gives you a little bit of a wake-up call. And that wake-up call is to give grace, and understand and lean on those people. Lean on the people that are there to help you. Lean on the people that want to help. Lean on, know that you always have a community. And if you don't, find one. Find one. Whether that's the Alliance. If I'd love to chat with you about the Alliance. I feel so, to all of my Alliance members, now and future, there is nothing that meant more to me. And even both my Alliance and my team, I have an incredible support team. Peg, Cassandra, shouting you out, Elle, shouting all of you out, knowing that in the middle of this craziness, my business was handled. My people were there. They were taking charge. They were dealing with my social media. They were making sure your podcast episodes launched on time. They were making sure my social media, there is nothing and no words that can describe how that feels. It just doesn't. And knowing yesterday when I popped online inside the Accelerated Business Alliance to let them know I was back, and to see, in the comments, like, oh my God, we missed you. Wow, it's so good to see your office. It's so great to see your face. Like, you cannot put it into words, right? Like, it's so freaking emotional. And that is why I am so passionate about having a community and building a community, because it's fucking lonely out there. It's lonely. It can be such a lonely world, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's life, whether, it's so easy to think you're alone. It's so easy to think you're living on an island. It's so easy to think like nobody cares and nobody's out there nobody cares. What difference does it make? Nobody misses me if I'm gone, right? Like, if you don't show up on social media, it's easy to think, well, nobody gives a shit. Nobody sees it anyways. I'm telling you, there are people out there that miss you, that want to see your face, that wonder what's going on. Okay. But you've got to build that community, and you've got to be open to putting yourself into something like that. And I can promise you, when you do, the rewards, it's not transactional. Okay. The benefits are not transactional. It's such a deeper emotional return on your investment of time or financial, not saying, and you really can't put dollars. Does it matter? I'm telling you, when it comes to material and financial things, like literally when they tell you, look at these people down in Fort Myers, Sanibel. I mean, it's Naples. Naples is huge, huge, huge money. I mean, millionaires, multi-million-dollar homes. They're gone. And guess what? I'm sure those people are mad, and I'm sure they're pissed off that their house is gone. But at the end of the day, every single person I've talked to, all they care about is that they have their life, that they have their family, that they have their people. All those material things, a lot of them can be replaced. A lot of them can be replaced. But you can't replace life. You can't replace people. And you can't replace missed experiences, right? You can't, those missed opportunities. And I hate that it takes a natural disaster like this sometimes for people, for all of us as a humankind, to wake up and see and realize what's truly important. Nobody gives a shit whether or not you've got a nicer car. Every single person down there, they're just helping out their neighbor. It doesn't matter if they had a bigger house. It doesn't matter if they had nicer furniture. It doesn't matter if their furniture was brand new or bought off of Facebook Marketplace. None of that matters, because guess what? It's all gone. It's all gone. And right now, all they care about is getting each other out of there. And that's what matters. So stop comparing yourself. Stop worrying about what other people are thinking. Stop being afraid to talk to somebody. Stop being afraid to approach somebody because you think they're further along than you. Stop being afraid to approach somebody because you feel like they're not going to talk to you. At the end of the fucking day, it doesn't matter. Not one person in this world is better than anybody else. There's nobody that's unapproachable. Build your community. Lead with your heart. And show up, because that's all that matters. That's all you've got. At the end of the day, that's all you've got. If you can make an impact on somebody's life by helping them, I mean, let me tell you something. A friend of ours had a friend, her young friend, I think they're college kids. They're all out of their college, got destroyed. They're all up here. And not only did their college get destroyed, but their home got destroyed too. Right? So now they got displaced from college, and now they're living in a home, and now that got destroyed in the hurricane too. And there's 6 of them living in a car that's flooded, that got flooded. I mean, the water drained out of it. That's all they have. And we sent them down spaghetti. I mean, what did that, She said they cried and cried and cried and cried and cried, because they hadn't had a meal in almost 5 days. And they didn't know if they were ever going to get another meal. Spaghetti. It's nothing. Again, yeah, I made the sauce. It didn't matter, but it wasn't any better. It wasn't about the spaghetti, right? It wasn't about whether or not that was the best meal they've ever had. They didn't give a shit. They just wanted some food. They just wanted a little bit of human contact. So, stop. Just stop being afraid to get out there and be who you are. Because at the end of the day, when something like this happens, none of the other shit matters. It really doesn't. And know that you have people. Find your community. Find those people. Find the people that are going to text you and say, Michelle, everybody's worried about you. Can I let them all know you're okay? Do you even, I can't even describe how it feels. I just cannot even describe what that feels like. And, there's days that I think to myself, I can't believe I don't have more people. Or how am I 5 years into this and this is what I've got, right? Or why don't I have more downloads on this podcast or more reviews or whatever? But at the end of the day, I got somebody texting me saying, everybody in the group's worried about you. Do you mind if I share this update? And to see a post that says, hey, everybody, I heard from Michelle. She's okay. Their family is okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't, and you have to lean on those things and go all in. Go all in on your people. Because those are the ones that are going to pick you up on the tough days. Those are the ones that are going to carry you through the hard times, whether it's life or business. It's the people. It's not the things. It's not the things. The things are going to get you so far. The material wins only get you so far. All right. So I love every one of you listening. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, from the depths of my being. There is nothing I love more than being able to connect with you. The only thing I don't like about podcasting is half the time I don't even know who you are if you're listening. That's the hardest part. So if you listen and we have not chatted, I want you to send me a DM. I want you to let me love on you. Find my people. I want you to find me. Let me love on you. And I want you to be part of my community beyond just a voice behind the phone or through your speakers or wherever you're listening. All right? Because that truly is what matters the most. All right? So I hope everybody is safe. I hope your family is safe. If any of you listening have family members that are in distress in the Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Naples area, please let me help. I'm here. We have we have gas, we have food, we have power, we have hot showers, we have all of the above. So if you know somebody that is really, really in a need, please, if they need anything, if they need supplies, if they need somebody to run to the store, please let me know. Okay? All right, guys. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.